and now wildfires.
Yes.
I saw the video that you posted on X of that tanker from
the
Florida.
DC-10, yeah. I'd never seen that before. This DC-10, this air tanker, that's a commercial aircraft. That's like an aircraft taken off from Charlotte Douglas, but now it's doing this bombing run, basically. Yeah, it's just crazy to see this because that plane is so large. In fact, the cool thing about it, so I'm kind of a plane geek too. I kind of get excited when you see these cool planes. And I actually found this from the CLT Overlook page, the folks that do plane spotting. They were kind of excited because they'd never seen this. But there's actually a plane in the lead of that has to guide it down there, because if you think about a DC-10, they can't really see low. And they can only see out in front of them. So they have a lead plane that guides them where they're going to drop this flame retardant. And the other thing about it, that pilot is amazing, because that's, I think one of the pilot friends to me said, that's 75,000 pounds of weight that just falls out the bottom. So imagine if you're flying a big plane like that, all of a sudden you lose all that weight. The plane wants to jump up, and you're only like a couple hundred feet above the tree line. So that was a daring pass that people, I don't think, realize from an aeronautical standpoint.
How do folks? I guess how is it impacting recovery efforts with this wildfire? I know this is a question you get a lot, but
unfortunately, we kind of saw this coming. Like in the fall, we were really worried because the USDA and the Forest Service had done these risk assessments on the fallen trees. I think last time I looked, it was like 900,000 acres of timber were destroyed in Helene. That's a lot of timber. And these aren't like twigs and branches. These are old growth trees, and they're laying all over the place. So two things happen when those trees fell, Nick. They dry out and they become fuel for fire. But the other thing I think that's very underrated and people don't think about, these trees are still down blocking fire roads and access to these areas. So the firefighters that would normally fight on the ground, they can't get up there. And it's very dangerous for them. We actually had one firefighter trapped under a tree that fell, because we got trees still leaning on trees. They call those widow makers, the trees that fall down and lean on another tree. And so these firefighters are having struggle. And so why we saw that DC-10 is probably because they can't get to those areas by foot. They've got to do that by air. And that's why these wildfires are such a big problem right now. There's fuel, and it's hard to fight them because of all the tree damage from Helene.
One more question before I get you out of here, Brad. I've been asking Vanessa, as Austin, this. Anything that sticks out from, the folks in the mountains, they're like family to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Friends. Any moment, any story that you heard up there that sticks out from these past 6 months?
I think I've heard Austin talk about this too, because the time that I spent up there, every time I go up there, this just tells you about the testament of mountain folk. There's a mentality up there that's unlike anything I've ever seen. I was up there that week, the first weekend, came upon an old lady. I knew exactly where she was because I'd seen a viral video from her front yard of like a flood, and she had no power. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, what can I get you, whatever. She was like, hey, can I get you a sandwich? Do you have water? She's like asking me what I want, Nick. And I'm like, no, we're here to help you. And everywhere you went, you saw that. People barely had a shirt on their back, but they were willing to help you. And they were so excited we were up there. They were very appreciative. Normally, in this business, sometimes people don't like to see the media. But they were happy we were there telling their stories and kind of showing what was happening, and just so helpful. I just could not get over the fact that we were being asked if we wanted food. I ate so well when I was up there because everybody was like cooking barbecue and giving us food. And even the emergency manager in Avery County, I remember him saying, he's like, we've had to force people to take help because they wanted other people to get first. And at some point you have to tell people, everyone else has been helped, now it's your turn.
Right.
We need to give you this, because they were more concerned about their neighbors. And that's a mentality that I think really speaks to who the people are in Western North Carolina.
Resilient, strong people, don't like to ask for help.
No, they don't. I mean, I joked before, it's like, the reason I love the mountains and the reason a lot of people do, they move up there to get away from people, right? You go up there and you want the isolation, but in a storm like Helene, that became a huge problem because you had one road to your cabin, one form of communication, and when that was wiped out by Helene, now you're on an island. You felt like you could have been in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, except you were in the middle of Western North Carolina. And so that was the one thing I think people realized, like, hey, maybe being completely isolated isn't such a good thing all the time.
And as you mentioned, Brad, it is a marathon, not a sprint, and recovery efforts. 6 months since Helene hit. I want to thank you again, Brad.
No.
One, for stopping by the studio, and two, for the awareness you keep bringing to Western North Carolina and the work that you do out there.
And that's the important thing is, like, every month or two, I always feel like we got to reiterate, like, hey, this is still going on. And the wildfires in Helene, they're not indirectly related. They're directly related to each other. So the wildfires are kind of a wake-up call, like, yeah, this is a problem because of Helene.
Yeah.
And so we still have a long way to go to recover up there. And the spring and summer tourism season is coming up. And the best thing I could tell you is get to the mountains. I mean, I joked, the beach is great.
Yeah.
Spring break at the beach would have been great. I wish you'd spend in the mountains. They'd love to get some of your money up there, go to an Airbnb, eat at a local restaurant, help them out. They need that revenue.
I took